That one.
Hello.
How are you? Good, welcome home. Thank you.
And she's been amazing, and now we're like switching lives because you're gonna be van dwelling in Hawaii.
I am.
And now I'm gonna have an apartment. Your apartment.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Yay, I love it.
Okay, here we go. Hey YouTube, Kristin here. It has been a hot minute since I have posted anything, but I have a really big update that I wanted to share with you, and here it is. I have moved to Las Vegas. After 8 years, nearly 8 years of full-time travel, with the most recent year 8 of 2019 was year 8. With that one not necessarily being a mobile year, which I'll explain a little bit later, because some of you that I follow and chat with on social media may be like, wait, Kristin, I've seen you in other apartments this past year, so I'll explain a little bit about that. But I am in a place now where I'm ready to say I'm planning to call Vegas home for at least the next year, to set it up as my home base after all of this time of nomading around the country and a couple times, at least once, around the world. For those of you who are new here, I'll give you a quick little rundown if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about. Way back in 2011, I quit my 9-to-5 desk job. I did a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, and I raised money to buy a van, and I spent 2 years then driving around the country in an effort to eat at every single vegan restaurant in the United States, and that's what started this project, We'll Travel for Vegan Food. So after that road trip happened, I knew I didn't want to go back to kind of a traditional lifestyle, so I started my own kind of work from anywhere business. I continued to slowly nomad around the US. After the van dwelling days, I was focused in particular on writing my memoir about the road trip through vegan publishers, and then I went on a 27-city book tour around the US, and then in 2016 I went on an around the world trip sponsored by vegantravel.com. That ended up lasting about 8 months, and when I returned from that, I totally crashed. And by that I mean I had been going kind of non-stop since 2011 at that point, since the end of 2011, and I think I had maybe travel fatigue or something, and there was a lot of guilt around kind of what the We'll Travel for Vegan Food brand would be, what I was doing with it, where I was going with it. So during 2017, 2018, I did at least one trip abroad. I started doing more freelance and part-time work in addition to my contracted work through my own business, and so it turned a little bit more into focusing on financial security the last few years, which interestingly enough, stay tuned, or I'll link to my other channel, Kristin Lajeunesse channel, where either later today or tomorrow you will get to see a video that talks about all the debt that I'm in right now. But I was definitely feeling a little uncertain of what was happening next. You know, I had built up this identity as this vegan travel nomad. I hadn't really monetized that particular project at all, so I was just in like a funky place. And then in November 2018, I learned that my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and it kind of hit me over the head with how long I had been I wasn't expecting that to make me get teary-eyed. It hit me how I had been prioritizing my own happiness for such a long time. Not even happiness, because some of the traveling and the things that I was doing, yes, it made me happy, and it was an amazing privilege. I recognize that I have a lot of privileges in my life, and because of that I was able to quit my job, travel, raise money, do all those things. But when I heard about my dad, I thought, I haven't been spending enough time at home. So I made my way back to upstate New York where I grew up. My parents had since moved to a city called Troy, which is just outside of the hometown that I grew up in. And they built a house there, and that's where they were living when my dad got his diagnosis and everything. So I thought, okay, I haven't committed to being in one place in a while. Maybe now is the time to do that, be closer to my parents, support them, at least emotionally, or whatever I could do. So I found a sublet in Albany, which is very close to Troy, and I was there for I think 3 or 4 months, and then after that I found an apartment in Albany, and it was a beautiful place, very nice. But I have to tell you that by the time I was moving into that place, I was beginning to fall into a pretty deep depression. There were some outside factors impacting, I think, my mental state last summer. And it scared me how sad I was. And so yeah. Woo! So I started seeing a therapist, and that helped a lot, and I started exercising consciously and not just randomly whenever. And that helped a lot. I just got up one day and like started running, and I don't like to run, I'm not a runner, but I just went for a run, and it really changed a lot. I started feeling much better. And even just like, I remember one morning I got up, I went for a run, and then I spent like 3 hours cleaning my new apartment, and it was like a cloud had been lifted. So it was really great. But another thing, you know, kept kind of creeping in, which was that I just felt really unsettled, really unhappy in upstate New York. It's, even though I grew up there in the area, it's not, I don't know what it is. It's like something about being there. There's always a lot of heavy energy. I mean, I love my parents. I'm very close with them. I get along with them really well. I really like spending time with them sincerely, but I just don't like being in upstate New York. And it was kind of this looming feeling of heaviness. And I just like, I can't tell you why. I don't know. There's something about being there, and it just makes me feel. Oh, and I do want to tell you, my dad is doing totally great. He had surgery last winter of 2019, and got a clean bill of health last spring. He's doing great. So all good there. And to be honest, you know, once I had a sincere conversation with my mom about how I was feeling about staying or not staying, and as she and my dad always do, encouraged me to, you know, do the things that I love and feel drawn to do, and to not feel like I need to stay for any particular reason. And so, you know, after my dad was doing better, after, you know, talking to my mom about kind of not wanting to stay long term, and still half-heartedly looking at other apartments, because the place that I did start living in was having a lot of issues with like debris falling from the ceiling, and it just was not a good thing. Even though it was a brand new place, it was beautiful, but there were just some things with the management and the debris and stuff that I was not having it, not really liking it. So that brings us to, let's see, September of 2019. I moved out of that place in Albany, and then I was thinking like, what am I gonna do next? And I had already planned to come to Las Vegas to cat sit for a friend. It was the 2nd year in a row that I was doing that for the same friend, and I had been to Vegas at least 2 or 3 times before the couple cat sitting gigs as well. One of my dear friends is part of a really cool kind of entrepreneurial startup community here, and so every time I would come back to visit, because Vegas is not, I will be honest with you, Vegas is not a place that I thought I want to live there long term someday, but it is, every time I would come back I would feel like pulled to stay, like an energetic kind of a thing. And so the more that I was thinking about it when I was here back in October, I thought maybe this could be a place that I could, you know, spend more time. So here are the top 4 reasons why I really like Vegas, despite the Strip, I should say, because I don't spend time on the Strip unless there's like a really cool show or something that I want to go to. I'm not like I don't drink, I don't gamble, I'm not like a late night partier. I'm like in bed by 10, up at like 5 or 6. So it's not a place like traditionally, you know, not a place that I would have thought it would be. But what I didn't know about it until coming back over and over again was just how, number one, this is my number one thing, just how amazing the community, like the entrepreneurial, solopreneurial community is here. There's this really amazing downtown area called Ferguson's downtown, and it's in a part of the city that is traditionally very run down and very known historically as an unsafe location. But the CEO of Zappos, Tony, he started a tiny home community here a few years ago. It's been slowly building. He's also invested a bunch in kind of rebuilding this part of downtown, this part of Vegas. And now there's like really cool progressive cafes and restaurants and coffee shops and co-working spaces. And Ferguson's downtown, which is kind of the name of the business or the community that houses or has invested in some of these places, is full of incredibly brilliant and kind people. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I was posting from Ferguson's Residential, which is the tiny house community side. I came here the beginning of December 2019. You can be invited in to do like a trial living period in the tiny house community. Right now there's about, I think, 35 or 40 people that live there full time, and then there were, I don't know, 6 or 10 of us that came in for this like winter camp trial thing. And basically it's just to see how you coexist with the community, because it is very social. They put me in one of the Airstreams. It was really cool, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to connect with some really nice people. However, my social anxiety was like spiking through the roof. I was kind of in a constant stressy state because it just, I don't know, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to like hang out and be social, but I wasn't doing it that much because I'm a bit introverted naturally, and I'm a little of like a hermit. Like I really value quiet and alone time. It was a little too overwhelming for my introvertedness. So that's why I decided to get an apartment, but it's right across the street. Like I can see, you can actually see it from here. Let me show you. You can see the tiny house community from here. See the trailers right there? Boop. That's it. That's Ferguson's residential area, and so it's really close. It's really close. This is where I had the camera. Yeah. Right, so I didn't finish telling you the other reasons that I chose Vegas. So aside from the really cool community here that's very kind of fast moving, progressive, a lot of young entrepreneurs, also the sun. Like being from the Northeast, I have grown accustomed to gloomy, cloudy months and months of weather, and I have noticed a legitimate drastic difference in my ability to function highly and be productive and just be generally happy. I notice that does change a lot based on the seasons and the amount of sun that I am getting on my skin. Of course, there are fantastic vegan eateries here. I don't have a car, so I've just got to either rely on friends or take a Lyft every now and then, which is good because I shouldn't be going out to eat as much as I have these past many years. I mean, as you know, if you're on this channel, you probably know that I've built this kind of brand around dining out at vegan restaurants, so I've done a lot of that, and I could definitely use some time from just like learning how to cook for myself finally. So I'm open to recipe ideas. I just downloaded the plant-based meal plans, Michelle and Tony's meal prep thing for the new year. I just downloaded that. It's only $5. I'll link to it. This is not an ad for them. I don't even know if they know that I purchased it, but it's like a weekly meal plan thing, and I am historically terrible at planning my meals. I'm terrible at cooking. I did purple carrot for a while when I was in Albany, and that was a big help, but it was a bit expensive. So let me know if you have quick and easy and affordable recipe ideas. And the fourth main reason that Vegas, or one of the main things in my top 4 reasons that I chose this place, is because of the central easily accessible international airport, which might seem like a weird thing to say, but as someone who still identifies as a nomad and who is struggling to not let go that identity, and hey look, I do have trips coming up. As some of you may know, I'm hosting a 10-day vegan food tour in Thailand this June, because look, here's the thing, for any of you who have lived in small towns like Albany and Troy, or like Albany is a relatively small city compared to a lot of other cities in the US, and the airport there is really small, which means that flying out of it is usually quite a bit more expensive than a bigger airport. So I actually really like that. This is sincerely something I like about Vegas. The airport is like 20 minutes from kind of anywhere in the city. It's an international airport and it goes direct to a lot of bigger cities and stuff. So yeah, that was a factor for me. I own 0 furniture because I've been traveling so much, and even when I was subletting or in the other apartment in Albany for a little while, I didn't buy anything. Like somehow I always managed, in the past 8 years, I've always managed to be in a place where there is a bed or there's like a temporary bed situation, and then I never invested in like other furniture because I either in my gut or whatever else happened, like I just knew I wasn't staying or something, I just wasn't staying long term. So I have 0 furniture. As you can see, I lack the ability to create cozy spaces. Like I know what I want it to look like, but I have no idea how to make that happen. So if any of you are like interior designers or really good with that stuff, let me know. For those of you who believe in like manifestation and woo-woo stuff, you're gonna love this story because I feel like I freaking manifested this place. Okay, so back in 2018, one of my friends was living here. She was a new resident and she invited me over to hang out with her and a couple other people, and we went down to the pool and hot tub area. And even though I had been in my friend's apartment, it was like a, you know, decent sized 1-bed apartment. I walked by this one unit by the pool area, this model unit. It was like a little studio thing, and I looked in the way they had it decorated and everything, and I was like, I'm gonna live here someday. Like I just knew. I know it sounds weird, but I just knew. Like there was something about when I looked in that window, I was like, I'm gonna live here. So that was in October 2018. Fast forward to a year later, when I moved into Ferguson's residential, I'd walk by this apartment complex all the time. And I would, you know, be like, oh, that place is so nice. Like, and then I started noticing the corner unit. So one thing that I've come to learn about myself is that I thrive on natural light. I love bright light spaces, all white. My preferred decor is just like very simple with lots of plants. Minimalist for sure. And so I started noticing these corner units, and I thought, oh well, you know, if I were to ever live in there one day, I'd probably want one of those corner units, but probably can't afford it, I don't know. Then the next freaking day, I'm on Facebook Marketplace, and wouldn't you know it, this woman named Sam posts her corner unit, small 1-bed, to here in this apartment complex, to Facebook Marketplace. And I was like, I had to come and see it. I had to come and see it. So I came to see it, and as soon as I walked in, I knew that I wanted to live here. Another crazy thing, or even crazier I think, is that Sam is moving to Hawaii, and so she's like, you know what, I can't take my bed and some other things. Would you just want to would you want this bed? Would you want some of these kitchen things? You know, so she left a freaking 1-year-old king-size mattress, which is awesome and super comfortable, by the way. I've slept in it 3 nights now. It's so cozy. And so she left me this amazing mattress, which again, I don't know how I get these places where I don't need to buy a bed, but I will take it. Thank you, universe. So it just worked out so well. She left me with a few things that have made the space livable for me, even though I don't have all of my stuff. I feel like what an incredible opportunity it was to meet Sam. Sam, if you're watching, thank you so much for helping to make this apartment happen for both of us. I hope Hawaii is treating you well. I'm enjoying the things that you left for me, so thank you. All right, sorry for the interruption. First, I had to clear up space on my card, and then the battery started dying. So here we go. Let's wrap this up. If you're ever in Vegas, like, hit me up, let me know. There's so much more to Vegas than the Strip, and I'd love to show you some of my favorite spots, so let me know about that. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I am co-hosting with Giselle from Mindful Wanderlust. Some of you may know Giselle and Cody, they're amazing. Giselle and I are co-hosting a 10-day vegan food tour in Thailand this summer from June 3rd through the 13th. We still have, as of today, January 1st, 2020, we have 6 spots left because we're only taking 10 people because we're trying to keep it small so that everyone can get a custom experience and enjoy themselves. So if you'd like to go, link is below in the description. So we're gonna start in Bangkok, and then we're gonna fly to Koh Samui, which is an island, and it's gorgeous. And then we're going to fly from there to Chiang Mai, and we're gonna eat all the things. There's a lot of tour thingies happening. We're gonna be going to night markets, day markets, including like that floating market that you may have seen pictures of. There are a few different versions of those. So we're gonna go on one of those. We're gonna take a Thai cooking class in Chiang Mai. We're gonna visit a few temples. You're gonna have at least like 2.5 to 3 days worth of those 10 days to like go do your own thing, and we'll give you recommendations on how to spend your time and what to do. Bangkok is actually just recently rated one of the top cities to visit in the world for tourism right now. So if you've ever wanted to go to Thailand, if you've been curious about it and you'd like for people just to take care of all the details for you, we got you. She and I will be there with you for every part of the trip. Whether or not you're going solo, it doesn't matter. Like, I spent 7 years traveling solo by myself, and it was great. And I wish that if there was like a tour like this where I could still go by myself but have people to like see stuff with and all that, like that, I think that would have been really cool. I mean, I know there was stuff like that, but I was already kind of in motion and doing my thing. So, but Giselle actually lives in Chiang Mai part-time. She and her husband Cody bought a house there a year or 2 ago, and so they spend half of the year in Chiang Mai and then half of the year in Toronto, Canada, where they're from. You couldn't ask for like a better situation with this, because you're not getting like a random, someone's like, oh sure, I'll, you know, meet you there and show you around. Like, this is legit. And the best thing about it, in my opinion, is to be like completely 100% sincere with you. It is one of the most affordable types of these trips that I've ever seen. I think it's an amazing opportunity for anyone who's wanted to visit Thailand, but you didn't want to go alone, or you didn't want to you know, figure out all the details and all that. Like, we got you. And plus we get to hang out, and then like we'll get to dance in all parts of another country. It'll be really cool. So anyway, if you have questions about that, email me or leave a comment on this video, let me know. That's it, that's my update. Stay tuned for more stuff from Vegas, and if you want to learn about how much debt I have right now and my 2020 plan to like beat the F out of that debt as best I can this year, if you want to follow that journey, my debt-free journey, you can check out my other channel, Kristin. It should be, I'll link to it below, but it should be like one of the recommended channels or videos. All right, everyone, happy new year, and I look forward to staying in touch. Bye.